Hi, everybody. Welcome to Best and Worst. And this is the show where we like to talk about one of our favorite talents and talk about their best and worst of the films that we have seen. It's a lot of fun. And I'm film critic Rach Wagner, and Ryan is here.
Hey Rachel, it's great to be back with you once again for Best and Worst, and today we're going to be doing the best and worst of Oscar Isaac. There are very few movies of his that I would call like him being bad in. He's at least trying, but picking a best for me was really, really hard. I don't know about you.
Yeah, and especially because I knew which one you were going to pick. So then I was, trying to think of what would be my next favorite. There's a couple of his that are very popular I haven't seen, like Most Violent Year. Heard is really good. I haven't seen that, so I got to catch up. But yeah, it's gonna be fun to talk about. So what did you end up deciding on for your best of Oscar Isaac?
My best, I kind of went the artsy fartsy route, and I chose Ex Machina. This was written and directed by Alex Garland, who wrote the Dread movie that came out in 2013, which is really good, and also directed Annihilation, which I really love. But I think Ex Machina may be his masterpiece. It tells the story of a programmer at a legally distinct and non-union Facebook who wins the chance to spend a week with the company's creator, who is a recluse and lives basically in like how a rich person would live in the middle of nowhere. But but this person, played by Oscar Isaac, has a secret. He has invented artificial intelligence in the form of a woman, played by Alicia Vikander. And so Oscar Isaac and Domhnall Gleeson go about doing a Turing test, which is basically asking a robot if they believe that they have a soul or if they are human. Oscar Isaac really does make the movie. He's essentially Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos like crammed into one with just a touch of Jack Dorsey, like the crazy
Mhm.
side. Like if you were to picture a social media billionaire, but like in the movies, you would probably think of Oscar Isaac in this movie. And it's going to be hard to talk about this movie without spoiling it, so I won't do that. However, I suggest going into this one as blind as possible, and it may surprise you.
Yeah, no, it's a really good movie. It manages to have interesting characters. It doesn't get kind of slow and plotting like a lot of sci-fi does for me. You have even some lighthearted scenes like when they're dancing or those kind of things to sort of give you a second to breathe and get to know the characters. The ending, I don't know if I 100% love the ending that they chose, but nevertheless, it was an interesting ending. But it would have been my pick if I knew you weren't picking it. So it's a strong film for sure. So my pick for my favorite Oscar Isaac performance is going to be The Force Awakens, and I know that the trilogy as a whole was disappointing and uneven. I get that. But I really enjoy Force Awakens still to this day. I still think it's an entertaining film. I love the introduction of all the characters, and it is kind of tampered a bit now because they didn't execute the ending as well as I it had so much potential, and they didn't do a very good job with it for the second and third. But I think Force Awakens is a really entertaining film. I really like the lightsaber battles in it. I think are really well done. I like getting to know Rey, and Poe Dameron is such a fun character. He is maybe as close as you could get to a Han Solo type character, considering Han Solo is also in the movie. And I like Harrison Ford in the movie. I think he does a good job. I think it's emotional. I like Adam Driver as Kylo, and I like his performance as Poe Dameron. I think he's really charming, and his kind of chemistry with Daisy Ridley, his chemistry with what's his name, Finn. I can't think of the actor's
John
name all of a
Boyega.
sudden.
John Boyega.
Yeah, John Boyega is really good. So that's my favorite of Oscar Isaac, Force Awakens.
This is the
So
best of the Star Wars sequels by a country mile. I actually pre-ordered the Blu-ray at my local FYE. It's one of my fondest Blu-ray buying experiences because
mhm.
I had to go to college. I had my college classes that day, and I got the email saying your Blu-ray's in. I'm like, it's a beautiful day. And I rushed over there and I got it, and it was great. And
Yeah.
I have a lot to say about the Star Wars sequels, but this is not the forum to do it. All that I will say is that Oscar Isaac is one of the best parts of this movie. He does have a lot of charisma that he brings, and there was a lot of potential to make him into something else, but too bad that was perfectly squandered. But again, not the forum. Not the
I mean,
forum.
I don't hate them as much as you do, but they definitely were disappointing. I will admit that. So, what is your worst of Oscar Isaac?
So my worst, and again, this is kind of the case of the actor is trying, but the rest of the movie's kind of crap. It's X-Men Apocalypse. The X-Men movies had a pretty good string of luck going into Apocalypse. X-Men First Class was great. The Wolverine I actually like, minus the ending. Um, Days of Future Past was awesome. I still think Days of Future Past is just fantastic. And then you had Deadpool, could do no wrong, or so we thought. X-Men Apocalypse, I've been going back and forth on for a really long time, and there's some good ideas here. However, this is yet again just kind of this just kind of felt like nothing to me. Like they got too big for their britches again, and it also led into the whole Dark Phoenix thing, which God bless them, they tried to make. It's kind of like Mean Girls. They try to make fetch happen. They try to make the Dark Phoenix happen, and it just doesn't happen. I don't know why. It just is. And again, Oscar Isaac, he's trying. I can tell. There's actually some genuinely menacing moments, but most of the time it's just everything they build will fall, and from the ashes of their world, we'll build
Oh,
a better one. And it's like, why couldn't Magneto just be the villain? Like, Michael Fassbender was the best part of all of those movies, and yet he was always put off to the side. It's like, why? I don't get it. It
no.
just felt like
I'm
a
with
big.
you. I really did not like Apocalypse. I thought it was really annoying. I thought that the character, it felt like a Transformers character to me. I just I don't know. I just really disliked it. It was so disappointing from Days of Future Past, which I really enjoyed and thought was very clever. And I know I just felt like it was a whole bunch of shouting and nameless action and characters I didn't care about. And so yeah, I really disliked it. So I'm with you on that one. But I also have to say my worst for Oscar Isaac is kind of a memorable movie in a bad way for me. I was really trying to get on the press list, working very hard, going to as many screenings as I could, waiting, 2 hours more sometimes in line, driving all the way up to Salt Lake to get tickets. And then which is like 35 minutes from my house, and then waiting in line after that once I'd gotten the tickets. And so just working really, I was really hustling. Well, I got actually invited to a screening. I was so excited. It's this movie, Life Itself, that Oscar Isaac was in. And I was so sick. And of course, you would never do this now because of COVID and everything. But at the time, I was trying to hustle, I was trying to work, extra hard. I was really sick. And I am not somebody who has never fallen asleep in a movie. I'll tell you that. You ask my friend Jen, she will tell you that I sometimes fall asleep in movies. Um, and But I was particularly sick. And so I was more likely to fall asleep because I was sick. Anyway, and I started the movie, and the movie was terrible. It's so maudlin. It's so sentimental. It's so manipulative. It's like a it's like a Nicholas Sparks movie, but like worse because it doesn't even have any like through characters. It's like a it's like a Nicholas Sparks movie meets Love Actually. Like, and you have all these stories that are all supposedly combining into one, and they all end kind of bittersweet or tragically, or you're supposed to be kind of emotionally manipulated by the characters. And I just hated it, and I fell asleep hard because it was so boring. And I I was actually snoring, and my friend had to yell at me and be like, oh my god, because it was so boring. And I just did not care for it at all. And Yeah, so Life Itself has to be, I wrote an email after to the people, that invited. I was like, I'm so sorry. I was sick and I apologize. Anyway, they were very nice. But yeah, that one, oof, it was bad.
Yeah, I've never seen this one. However, I every review I've seen of it has just been just awful.
It maybe is written by and I think directed by the guy who does This Is Us on NBC. And it made me like, maybe I shouldn't watch that show because I just liked this so much. Um, so there we go. That is my worst.
Very admirable choice.
But let me know what your let us know what your worst and best of Oscar Isaac are. We would love to hear in the comments section and what you think of our choices. And Ryan, how can people find you?
They can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at RyanCam20. Then there's, of course, my YouTube channel, which is just called Ryan Cam. Uh, by the time this is out, Scary Mania 2 will be wrapping up on my channel. The last movies that I'm going to be covering will be Van Helsing, Drag Me to Hell, Insidious, The Conjuring, and Lights Out. And then Scary Mania 2 will be officially in the books. November will officially it's going to be a catch-up month for me. I'll be tying off loose ends, if you will. Going to be doing a definitive Denis Villeneuve ranking in honor of Dune. I'll be reviewing and ranking the Craig Bond movies in honor of No Time to Die. In my I Finally Watched series, I'll be finishing off the Studio Ghibli filmography. Yes, even the Earwig movie that nobody likes. I'll have to watch that. And then in December, I have big plans for December, and I will be announcing those soon. So if you haven't checked me out, please do.
Yeah, you shall definitely check it out. And make sure you listen to our Hidden Gems episode on HBO Max, where we also both give our thoughts on Dune. We'd love for you to check that out. And yeah, you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So please take a look at that. And also make sure you check out the Hallmarkies podcast. Lots of fun stuff going on, including we interviewed Katie Sackhoff this week, which was amazing. So take a look at that. And please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. Sure appreciate that. We also have the merch store and the Patreon group. We really appreciate your support over there. So thanks so much. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye, everyone.